Good morning. Welcome to another week of Move Sessions. I have to blow my nose. You guys, I'm gonna call it a man cold because I'm the one in the house that gets sucky when I get sick. I am the man in the house that gets the man colds, that whines when I get sick. And I almost canceled this morning, but I decided no, we're gonna give this a go and see how it goes. You know, I gotta take my own advice sometimes. See how it goes, right? So modify as I need to. All right, who's joining me today? Let's get started. What a gorgeous day out. Oh my gosh, like seriously. Oh, set the wrong timer. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm kind of annoyed that I have this head cold because I was just sick last month. Like prior to COVID, I literally never got sick. Once in a blue moon. And then of course during COVID, I definitely didn't get sick because I wasn't around anybody. And then I feel like I got sick a couple times in the fall. I got sick, I think in January, March. This month, like what is happening? So my theory is my immune system maybe is weakened from just not being exposed to people and germs. I don't know, because I've never gotten sick this frequently. It's just a head cold. I tested yesterday. It's not COVID. It's just kind of from Europe. It's kind of in my sinuses and my head. And I had this scare with Advil a few years ago, several years ago now, where I took Advil. Okay, that backstory to the Advil that I took is in my mom's purse, and it was Advil. It was in an Advil container, but it could have been something else. I don't know. It could have been her thyroid pills. I have no idea what it was, but she thought she gave me an Advil. Well, I had this weird reaction where the bottom of my feet started to itch and tingle, like so bad. Funny enough, we were at Disney. We were in Disney Springs. I had to go to the bathroom to take my shoes off to scratch my feet because they were like burning itchy. And then that itchiness kind of started to spread through my whole body, like my stomach, my arms. By the time we were headed to catch the bus, by the time the bus came, like I wanted to pass out, like I wanted to die. Like every sort of pore on my body was itchy. It was the weirdest thing. Anyways, I ended up getting Benadryl, taking Benadryl, and it settled it down. It was fine. So we didn't know what that was. Like we had no idea like what I was reacting to. I couldn't think of anything else that it could have been. My sister's like, oh, the suntan lotion. I'm like, no, because it was started on the bottom of my feet. Betty, you're a nurse. That's an allergic reaction, right? Anyway, so then fast forward a few years later, Chris and I were in Mexico. I had a mild headache, so I said, oh, give me an Advil. I'm on vacation. I don't want to have a headache. I took an Advil. And it was an ibuprofen. It wasn't Advil. It was a knockoff brand. And I got the same type of reaction that started on the bottom of my feet. So initially I thought, was there bugs in the sand on the beach that had bitten my feet or something? Like it was, and then I realized, oh my gosh, it's the same sensation. And I thought, oh my God, God help me if that happens again. I gotta buy Benadryl in Mexico. It subsided. It wasn't nearly as severe, but it was, very mild version. So I don't know. And so I've never taken Advil again since. I just sort of thought, well, maybe I developed a kind of a later in life allergy to it. So I never took it. This morning, my head was and it's just from the stuffiness and congestion, and I didn't sleep the greatest. I said, oh, maybe I'll try it. I haven't got anywhere to go, and if I react, I'll know for sure. That third time's a charm type of deal. I'll know that, so I took an Advil and I didn't react. So yay. So I guess I'm not allergic to Advil after all. I never take it, like once in a blue moon. So I'm picking up the intensity here, or trying to. If you're just starting with me, if you're just beginning move sessions with me, you can keep it at the low intensity that we did in the first round and wait, you know, till you've adjusted a little bit more, wait till you've gained a little bit of fitness before you start adding the hopping. But for those of you who've been doing this a while and want to increase intensity alongside me, we're adding a little hop to that first circuit that we did. So we're essentially doing the same moves 3 times, different intensities. So I want to stress, as I always try to, that your job, this is what I told myself today, show up and you do what you got. You give what you got. So if you're recovering from maybe an injury, maybe illness, maybe COVID, whatever, and you're not able to, you know, do the same things as I'm doing, don't think, oh, I can't do these workouts with Jocelyn. Just modify. I will try my best to offer modifications on both ends, right? How you can make things harder, how you can make things more gentle. Because my goal with these move sessions is to reach as many women as possible and get us moving, you guys. Get us valuing our health, get us valuing movement for our body. Exercise isn't about punishment. It's not about, you know, burning off what you ate. It is. It is about burning off what you ate. But it's more than that. It's about health and it's about well-being. It's about mental health. It's about nourishing your body, like nurturing your body. Your body needs movement. The less we move, honestly, the more problems we develop in life. Especially as we age, movement is so critical, and types of movement. So I've, as some of you know, incorporated, I'm a runner, so I run and I do these move sessions with you. Well, these move sessions are in order for me to be able to run, because if I just ran, I would have all kinds of problems. So running does not lend itself to range of motion, to bone strength, bone density, all kinds of other issues that as we age are things that we really need to be mindful of and take care of. What running is good for is cardiovascular health, and I would say mental health, if you enjoy it. If you don't enjoy running, that's okay, maybe walk. I know Betty plays golf, whatever your activity of choice. We do these move sessions so that we can healthily enjoy the activities that we love without, and then as of recent, I've incorporated yoga into my routine. Why? Because my body needs that kind of movement. It needs that kind of restoration. It needs to be stretched out. You know, it needs to be, our bodies, like I said, the less we move our bodies, and I believe the less diversity in our movements as we age, we develop stiffness, imbalances, and stiffness in one area, right? So I know Betty has a lot of stiffness, probably scar tissue in her feet from having plantar fasciitis. You know, I had a sprained ankle last fall, so there's residual tightness, stiffness, lack of mobility. Well, lack of mobility or tension or inflammation even in one area moves. Like, it causes issues everywhere. So if your feet are tight, right, and immobile, then that's going to affect your legs, it's going to affect your hips, it's going to affect your shoulders, which is going to lend itself to headaches, migraines, digestion issues. Like, everything's really interconnected in our body. So what can we do to really, like a car, picture your body like an old vehicle, right? It needs maintenance, right? And so movement, my goal is to help you connect to movement as a form of self-love, self-care, maintenance versus well, I need to do this because I need to lose 20 pounds. I do feel very strongly that obesity and carrying extra weight that's not healthy is something that we need to address, but we address it from the wrong place. We address it from self-loathing, peer pressure, social pressure, you know, trying to keep up with other people. Like, what we need to do is say, hey, how can I care for myself the best and then accept my body for what my body is, right? But there's two sides to that. It's not just about accepting your body. Like, it's not just about accepting, hey, my car's 10 years old, it's gonna, you know, do this, and like, well, how can I care for it so it lasts as long as possible and runs well, right? So that's my goal. That was really long-winded. That's my goal with these move sessions, is to help women connect to movement in a different way. And so that's why I always stress that you can modify anything I'm doing, you can change anything I'm doing. You can start with just the warm-up that we just did, come back tomorrow and do the warm-up, add in, you know, length and duration as you're ready. Hey, Yvonne. But when you can change your mindset around your body so that it's a thing that you love, not a thing that you loathe, everything starts to change in your life. You start to respect yourself. You start to think of yourself in a different way. So we're doing Tabata today. So my cardio is definitely very off today from my cold, but that's okay. We're going to be working on legs. We're going to be working on strength work. I'm going to temper it back a little bit due to what my body's telling me right now. I can hear my body saying, dude, you need rest. Those of you who follow me know that I did a huge training weekend, and I'm so grateful actually that my sickness didn't really hit till last night, so I got both my runs in yesterday, and today is a scheduled off day, so I'm good. We're going to start with step ups on our bench. So you can use a step, a bench, a table, a chair, a cooler, anything that you can physically step on, and we're going to be doing one leg at a time. I am going to grab a weight, 2 weights, and give this a try. So, see what I can get out of this body. Sometimes too, when you're not feeling well, it's really just a head cold. See, I'm a man cold person. My husband's a lot tougher than me. You know, usually it's the woman that's the tough one, and the man, no, I'm the man in this house. I am the whiner. I hate being sick. Don't like not feeling good. All right, you guys ready? Okay, grabbing your weight, and we're doing one leg. So up, that leg stays up there. So it's funny because yesterday I felt the sniffles and the runny nose coming on Sunday night. I had just done a really big training day that day. So I was like, oh, we got that in. I don't know how I'm gonna feel tomorrow. Yesterday I had another big training morning. Usually Mondays I do a hill workout in the morning, and then I do a shorter run later in the day with my son, where I look at it as a flush run. So the goal of that run is to recover from the morning. Anyway, so it's almost like before I got sick, I got a little bit of a high first. So I got to experience that high yesterday, and I'm just gonna toot my own horn here for a second. I kind of crushed my hill workout yesterday, which I was surprised because it was on the heels of 2 long runs on the course of the weekend. Normally, Sunday is my day off, so I get to rest before I go into that hill workout on Monday. But this week, I had to do back to back to back, so I was very pleasantly, but it's almost like I got like an endorphin or an adrenaline hit before my cold descended. Saying to my husband, like, well, my cold timed itself really well because today's the day I feel the worst, but I have the least actually to do. So it worked out well in terms of training. just have to put in this leg workout today, which won't be as aggressive as I was hoping, but that's okay. Sometimes sweating it out is good too. I actually, if my heart rate wasn't so high, I actually feel better than I thought it was going to. So see, it's always pays to try. And you know, that's something I'm trying to learn. Like, have some humility and be willing to try and allow it to go badly and adjust, right? In life, like, you want to try something new, you want to work on a new project at work, or maybe take on a new project in your life, and you're like, oh, I would suck at that. Be willing to suck. It's okay sucking, right? You can't ever get better. And honestly, the beginning for everyone is always suck. You always have to be able to suck first. And sometimes I'm resistant to that, right? So I'm trying to kind of train my mind to say, hey, just go suck at it and deal, right? That's how I've kind of approached my training since I got back from Florida. Because, I'm not gonna lie, I had a bit of a mental resistance happening where I thought, I have 4 months to get ready for this thing that I've signed myself up for. I had lost focus of why I wanted to do it. I had lost focus, you know, like, that's huge. When you're doing something and you've forgotten why, you've forgotten your values around it, it's a game changer because you start to lose the inspiration behind the actions that it takes to achieve that thing, right? So I was in vacation Disney mode. Vacation Disney mode doesn't really fall in alignment with, you know, go out and run long distance in the woods. They're like, I have these two polar personalities. One is, I call one bougie and one dirtbag. I'm a bougie dirtbag, right? So I love my bougie things. I love the good things in life. I love to enjoy the fine things in life and appreciate them. But I love the outdoors and I love simplicity. Like, I like the two ends of the spectrum. And those personalities fight sometimes. And I'm sure that you all can relate too, because it is funny. Okay, so we're gonna go to lateral, so sumo squats, and then side lunges next. All right, so ready? So squats, sumo squats, you're driving those knees out. These, I love doing these when I'm in need of some mobility in the hips. I did my yoga this morning. Dang, it felt good. So sometimes in life, right, you have those two personalities. Make sure you have lots of space because we're going to do both sides. And you start to embrace the one, and then it's hard to embrace the other. That's kind of, you know, I went away, came home, I have 4 months. I got to dive right into this training for this thing, and I have one of my clients, actually, funny enough, she called me on this. She said, you are focusing on, I only have 4 months instead of I have 4 months. And I thought she was crazy when she first said it. I was like, no, I'm not. And I realized subconsciously, yeah, I am. I'm worried about 4 months not being enough. And, you know, whether it is or it isn't, it's irrelevant because I can't change it. So I can choose to think that 4 months is enough, or I can choose plenty, or I can think, or I can worry. So I noticed she was right, because I thought I don't have time to be sick and take time off. I only have 4 months. So she's right, I am. Very babbly today. Sorry, you guys. So you can use a weight for these if you feel like you're ready, for sure. Make sure that some of you might have trouble with your knees in both of these, in which case you can modify to regular squats, right? Instead of driving my knees out, you can drive your knees at a 45-degree angle, depending where you're at. The lateral lunges, if those bother your knees, what you want to be mindful of is that you're driving those knees in the sumo squats back to the back of the room. In the lateral lunges, you want to make sure your weight isn't forward into your knees. So you want to sit, I'm actually doing a proper squat when I actually land in, go into that squat. So you want to be mindful that if those bother your knees, then just do side squats like this instead of the giant lateral ones. The lateral ones are going to work a little bit more in the glutes and the inner and outer thighs, which if you're not ready, if you're just starting, you might not have this leg strength for that yet. Okay, and then these ones, you want to really drive those knees to the back of the room using those inner thighs. But again, only widen the feet to the angle that your knees aren't, you don't want your knees caving in like this. Okay, so if you're noticing that your knees are sinking in, don't try to attack such a wide angle. Anyway, it is amazing. I will say, I have to comment because I feel pretty dang good right now, other than my main cold. I'm shocked. I've done 2 weeks, right? 2 weeks of my 4 months of training I put in. So this is week 3 that I'm just starting. And week 4, I have Killarney, which is a big sort of mini event, let's call it, mini race. It's not a race, it's just something my friend and I are going up to do, but it's, I mean, how many of us ever actually race races? But it's 75 kilometers, and I came home from Florida thinking, my mindset was not in outdoor adventure mode, it was in lap of luxury Disney mode. Very opposing personalities. Like I have split personalities. There's 2 of me in there. And outdoor adventure me was, she was in there, but she was buried because luxury Disney bougie me was living it up good. So I got home and I was battling all these. Okay, so next up we're going to do back lunges. Again, the back lunges are going to target more of your quad. So if you have bad knees, do step forward lunges. I'm doing these because I didn't want to target specific muscles for my training, but for you, if you're finding that those are hard or you're finding your balance is off, do the other ones, okay? All right, so back lunges, and we're starting with one leg, so our right leg. So my point of all of that was, sometimes what happens is we find ourselves in a place where we're working towards something, but we've actually disconnected with the why or the reason that that thing was important to us. So for you, it could be, you know, it could be diet, it could be exercise, it could be, you know, a project. When we disconnect with the why and the vision of the ultimate goal, right? And what, like, how that aligns with our values, we lose the inspiration to take the action. So in my case, I had completely disconnected with that goal, right? Because it wasn't something, yes, I was trying to train and keep sort of generally fit while I was in Florida, but I wasn't running trails. I wasn't, you know, I was doing my workout. I was as best as I could. I'll say I did a lot of training on feet because I did a lot of long days walking. But the goal had slipped to the back of my mind, right? And so you forget why you're doing it. And then you try to jump back into the actions and you don't have those, the why or the reason at the forefront, and all you're seeing is grind and effort and work. And then that resistance builds because you're like, and I felt that. I shared that on a live. I went out for a 3-hour run like a couple weeks ago. I had no interest in being out there. I was like, why am I out here? How am I going to do a 4-day outdoor trek adventure if I'm hating every step of this stupid, like little tiny 3-hour run? And I had to refocus on my why, refocus on, well, why did I sign up for that in the first place? I had to go back to last fall and go, why did I sign up for that? Because I actually don't know. I had lost track of, anyways, I found it. And last fall, when I cut out wine, I think it was, well, it was summer actually. I think it was August. It was August or, I don't remember when it was. So I did it for 90 days. We did that 90-day run. I know that it ended as when I went to, yeah, it was August, September, October. I did no wine. And when I cut out wine, all of a sudden, my love for running and endurance sports came back. It's very weird. That's when I signed up because I needed something. So when I got back from Disney, I cut out wine again. Well, it didn't quite work as seamlessly as it did last fall, but it's back now. Like now I've reconnected with that person who loves fitness. And you guys, it's okay to have seasons in life where you're, you know, you can't, I always say, you can't be in peak fitness all the time because then it's not peak fitness, right? Sometimes it's maintenance. Sometimes it's just like, hey, I'm doing what I can to take care of myself. I'm doing what I need to. Could I do more? Yeah. All right, I have a good one for us next that we're gonna try. This is a new one, and some of you may not be ready for this one yet. And if you're not, that's okay. You can substitute with air squats. You can throw in bicep curls, anything to substitute, but just to keep moving. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna sit down and up. Okay, one-legged. Again, this is an advanced move. So what I would encourage you to do first is maybe you're gonna squat. Okay, maybe that's where you're starting. I gotta blow my nose. That's good, I went for like 20 minutes without blowing my nose. I think I felt a lot of guilt around that for a long time, that I wasn't, I didn't have more passion for my fitness, my athletic endeavors. And I fought that for a long time. These are gonna be, it's gonna hurt tomorrow. Again, these are advanced, so if these are not in your wheelhouse yet, don't beat yourself up. They're barely in mine. And you really want, these might not be something you want to do if you have bad knees. What we're doing is we are working all those stabilizer muscles. And these are muscles that We want to work. We want to be able to do stuff like this, right? These are kind of some of the things that we could do when we were young. We can't do anymore. Why? Because we don't. And it happens like that, you guys. Like, you don't even know it's happening. Again, I go back to, I didn't know I couldn't jump off a rock without twisting my ankle because I had no agility or athleticism because I hadn't been exercising that, right? And so the next 4 months of training are about trying to reawaken some of these systems in my body that are, some of them might be gone, right? Some of them might be gone forever. Really quad heavy, these ones. I'm really feeling those quads. So again, what I would say to modify, if you want the modest version, is do these with both legs. Okay, so alternating both legs with squats. So 2-legged box sits with air squats. Or to maybe give your legs a break, 2-legged box sits with bicep curls. We're going to be doing our 747s next. So that's going to get the back of our legs. So I would encourage you, all of that babbling about me, what I want to kind of say and reach you with is, why do you work out? Why do you exercise? Those of you who are with me every week, 3 times a week, why? Really know why you're doing it. I learned from a business mentor a few years ago, and it changed my entire business. It's not about the actions, it's about the energy behind the actions. So if you're just putting in the motions with your workouts, this is better than nothing, right? But if you want to get more out of your workouts, why are you doing them? Why do you run? Dawn, Heather, why? When you've forgotten why you do it, it just becomes a grind and it just becomes work. You want to reapply that inspiration behind it. So if you can ask yourself those questions, so let's say it's I want to lose weight, right? I want to fit back into my clothes. Why? Like, why do you want to lose weight? And so this is something that I think the world really misses when it comes to weight loss, when it comes to this never-ending struggle with losing weight, health, diet. Why? Right? So we all on the surface, well, I want to be skinny. I mean, I'm not, like, listen, you guys, I'm no different. I want to be skinny. That's not a compelling enough reason, as we can see, because the whole world struggles with weight loss, right? So that isn't good enough to move you into things or to get over that resistance. So, all right, I think we're done with this because I'm going to do 747s next. Why? Okay? There's usually all kinds of psychological garble behind wanting to lose weight. And a lot of it isn't really anything to do with us and our reasons. It pertains to other people. Okay? Bending over, lifting. Okay? Again, this is an advanced move that I would recommend doing with no weight to start. You want to make sure the boobs are out, okay? If boobs aren't out, you're probably not hinging, and you want to be hinging from the hip. These are what give us those sore butts on Wednesdays. Wednesday sore butts. our Wednesday butt problems come from Tuesdays, 747s, and lateral squats, and probably from those box squats today. Often when we forget why we're doing stuff, this is where, whoopsie, we end up doing things for the wrong reasons. We sign up for things that aren't in alignment with what we want, right? We do things, we have this internal resentment for expectations that are placed upon us that we kind of embraced or invited. Oh my gosh, yeah. There we go. These take some concentration, and you don't want to rush this movement because you want good form, right? So you really want to be hinging like a pendulum. Some of you are going to have no problems with these whatsoever. Because I've had lower back and hip issues in the past, pelvic floor issues, these tend to be my nemesis. I can tell you I'm enormously improved from, like, I didn't used to be able to actually even do this with or without a weight. I couldn't get my hind leg up, and I couldn't bend. Like I just had so much issues with this area of my body. I don't have the issues anymore, but now it's about retraining that strength in that area, and it's coming. Remember to keep that chest open, boobs are out. Woo! See, I almost was this close to canceling today, guys. I was literally so close to canceling, and I was too public shame and is real, right? Like, I was like, I don't want to let those guys down. I don't want to let my, my live ladies down. And it's a commitment. So this is an example of something that I built accountability around. And it's not one of those things that, I'm committed to that I don't want to do. It's something that I do want to do that I just struggle to move myself into sometimes. But I literally just wanted to drop my son off and go back to bed this morning. And I said, no, you can at least do the warm-up and see how it goes. And it's like, it's a lesson for all of us that, had I done the warm-up and felt like I couldn't do the workout, I would have said, hey guys, sorry, that's it for today. I just can't do this. But here we are, we're almost done. So we're gonna finish with one last set of Tabata, and we did the whole class. I was gonna shorten it too. We're gonna do a core set. So we did our squats, we did our jacks, we got to do our plank and our core. So that's what we're going to do next. We're going to do sit-ups, because I'm really liking those lately. And we're going to do leg lifts. How's everybody feeling? Are you guys feeling your glutes pretty hardcore right now? All right, let's finish this sucker off and see, I'm so proud of me. So that goes to show you, I'll tell you a story as we head into this last set. In that whole kind of reconnecting to my why, the reason I'm training for this 200 miler, what it means to me, I realized because I wasn't connected to that, I was doing as little as possible. So you don't have to use a weight for either of these movements. Okay, so leg lifts, you can do this with or without a weight. If you're doing it without a weight, lift your legs all the way up straight. Because I didn't know why I was doing what I was doing, I was just going through the motions. I had this mentality of, what's the least I can do? What do I need? What do I have to do, right? Which is kind of the same as like, how can I do as little as possible? What's the least I can do to do what I have to do? And it hit me like a ton of bricks. To show up on the start line of my race, knowing that I did what I had to do, but that was it. That's where all those doubts, fears, anxieties come from, because you know dang well you should have put more effort in and you're not ready. So you can apply this to anything in life, but if you only ever show up to your workouts when you feel good, you haven't built any grit, you haven't built any fortitude, you haven't really built anything, because you've only ever done it when you wanted to, which is easy. It's easy to do things when you want to and they feel good, right? The grit, the confidence, the character comes from doing things when you don't want to. And the lessons that you learn from that are half the time when you do things when you don't want to, or you don't think you can, you actually have. That's when you have the best runs, is when you show up thinking, I don't think I got it today. And then you finish it. How does that build confidence? And confidence, it gets turned into courage, right? And courage is what moves you to do things in life outside of your wheelhouse, outside of your strengths, which is what really living is all about, in my opinion. In my humble opinion. If we only ever do things when we want to and when we're comfortable and when we're in our wheelhouse, we stop growing, we stop learning. In life, we lose inspiration, we lose exhilaration, we don't experience any highs anymore, because highs, of course, are in relation to the lows, right? So if we avoid the lows, we don't get the highs, and that therein lies one of the reasons that I'm challenging myself to something that is terrifying and unlike anything I've ever done before, to challenge that inner, character, grit. Do we have one more, or was that 4? Oh no, in about 5 seconds. That was 4, and we did it. Thanks for joining me today. Thanks for always listening. Even if you muted me, that's okay. I don't blame you. Have an awesome week. Have an awesome day, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks again. Have an awesome day.